Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Battlefield 2042 video. Now for today's video, I figured I would compile a bunch of tips and tricks for you guys, just a bunch of things that the game doesn't necessarily tell you. As of recording this video, I'm level 36, so I've put a decent amount of time in this game so far. And these are just a bunch of things that I've picked up from playing the game a lot. These aren't in any particular order or anything, these are just a bunch of tips that I think is going to help you guys improve your gameplay and just improve your overall experience. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first tip that I have for you guys, which came in real handy for me, is actually taking advantage of the single player experience against the bots. Now for those of you that didn't know, in the game modes, you can actually switch between multiplayer or solo and co-op. So either you by yourself or you can play with your friends against some bots, and you can choose what map you want to play on and you can change the bot difficulty. And from what I found, this is actually one of the best ways to farm experience and to farm different upgrades for your weapons and for your vehicles. Now, as of this moment, DICE has currently nerfed single-player XP and the Portal XP. A lot of people were taking advantage of XP exploits, so they currently nerfed Portal mode. Portal currently has a cap on XP, and so does single player. They did say that this was just temporary and that they're going to bring it back, but as of recording this video, I have tested it, and even with the nerfed XP, I was able to get a couple upgrades for some of my stuff. I was in single player, basically just farming some bots with my helicopter to rank up my helicopter kills, and I was actually able to level up my helicopter a couple times just from this alone. So if you guys are new to the game, or you just want to practice with a new weapon or something, or if you want to grind to unlock different attachments, highly recommend you play against the bots in single player. And I was actually having a lot of fun. You wouldn't think that playing against bots would be that enjoyable of an experience, but it was actually kind of a good time, and it was fun to just, mindlessly go around and slaughter some bots and practice some of the different weapons. So the next tip that I have for you guys has to do with the attachments. Now, as most of you guys know, you guys can change your attachments on the fly when you guys are playing. And with this new attachment menu, you can have 3 different slots depending on the weapon. You can have 3 different slots for sights, 3 different slots for ammunition, 3 slots for underbarrel, and 3 slots for just a barrel. Now, obviously, every single weapon is different, and not every single weapon is going to have 3 different slots, but I have seen some confusion in the community on just how this works. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the innermost slot is the one that is going to spawn on your weapon. Though any attachments that you want to have on your weapon anytime you die and respawn, or anytime you load into a match, make sure you prioritize the attachments correctly, and whatever attachments you want. For example, I want a silencer on most of my weapons, so I will put the silencer in the innermost square. And then if I want a grip, I will put that in the innermost square. And then if I want an extended mag, I would put that in the innermost square. And then whatever scope I want, I would put at the innermost square. And then another thing I recommend, which, this is just personal preference, but I like to set my weapons up for every single situation I can think of. Once you unlock all the different attachments for your favorite weapon, I recommend you set it up for multiple scenarios. For example, close range, mid range, and far range. So for my SVK, I like to have 3 different variations of scopes. I like to have a mid-range scope, a close-range scope, and a far-range scope. And then for my PP29, I like to go with the Fusion Hollow scope, just an up-close, close-range red dot scope, and then I go for a 2x, and then I also have a 3x scope. And then I also like to have backup grips and different types of ammo for different situations as well. If I'm fighting at mid to long range, then I'll put on a long-range scope, but if I know I have to push an objective and it's going to get real up-close and personal, then I'll change all my attachments to be more of like a close range build. There's no point in having a 10x scope if I'm going to be fighting up close and personal. I can easily just on the fly switch to a red dot, and then instantly I can fight up close compared to very far. So I just recommend that you guys build your weapons based off of every scenario, that way you're not underprepared. Now the next tip I have for you guys has to do with the specialist named Boris. I've been playing with Boris a lot. He's been pretty much my main. Now I could go into individual tips and tricks for each individual specialist, which I might do for a different video, but for this video I'm just going to give you guys a tip for Boris because he's the one I've been playing with the most. Now with Boris, his ability is that he can deploy a sentry gun, which is pretty handy, but he also has a passive secondary ability where it says nearby sentry guns are more effective. Now I was confused for the longest time about how close I needed to be, and what I didn't realize for the longest time is that there's actually a circle around the sentry gun, and if you're inside of that circle, it really improves the accuracy and the range on that sentry gun. Like, it's night and day difference. So make sure, if you want to see the benefits of the sentry gun at its full potential, stay inside that circle. And from what I've found, when people are shooting at the sentry gun and they're chipping away at its health, you can actually simply pick it up and redeploy it, and it will redeploy with full health. If I'm in a tricky situation, I'm hiding behind cover and I'm letting my sentry gun do the fighting for me, if I see it's taking damage, I'll just pick it back up and redeploy it. Boom, it suddenly has full health, and then it can just keep on fighting. Now, I would imagine that the repair tool might actually fix this. I haven't tested it out, but keep that in mind too. If you guys are hiding behind your sentry gun and letting it fight for you, if you have a repair tool, that might be worth looking into. So the next tip I have for you guys has to do with your specialist outfits. Now, in this game, you can actually change your outfits mid-match, which is actually a big deal. Most games make it so you have to back out to the main menu to change your loadouts and to change your outfits. So it's actually pretty handy that you can do this. So I recommend that you guys change your outfits based on what map you're playing on. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times I've played with people that are running around with outfits that make absolutely no sense for the map that they're playing on, and that puts them at a huge disadvantage. So for example, the Specialist Angel, he has an epic skin called Snowburn, which I think comes from one of the special editions. And I've seen a lot of people running around with Snowburn just because it looks cool, but man oh man did they stand out like a sore thumb. If I'm playing on that desert map and it's nothing but sand dunes and someone's running around in a snow outfit, I mean, I can see them from a mile away. Versus if they were wearing something tan, they would at least blend in with the environment. And a lot of people don't realize that outfits actually play a major role in the battle. I mean, camouflage exists in real life for a reason. Camouflage helps you blend into the environment, and it makes it harder for enemies to spot you. So if you're running around in the middle of the woods and you're wearing a completely white snow outfit, your enemy is going to spot you. But if you're hiding in a bush and you're wearing a ghillie suit, you're going to be a lot harder to see at first glance. Which is one of the reasons why I don't like cosmetics in games like Call of Duty and Battlefield anyway, because to me, I feel like it's pay to win. For example, if they have a snow outfit or a ghillie outfit and it's locked behind a paywall and it gives somebody a slight advantage, I think that's a big deal. So depending on the map and depending on the time of day, if you're playing on a map and it's nighttime, and if you have one of those darker outfits unlocked, I would switch to like a dark outfit on the night maps. If you're in the snow map, I would switch to a snow outfit. And then if you're in the middle of a jungle or something, I would wear something green or something that has leaves so that you blend in. So something to keep in mind and to think about. So the next tip that I have for you guys is for more of those newer players or for those players that didn't play on the beta. Some of you guys that have been playing since beta probably already know this, but for the specialist Casper, he has a Recon drone, and if you didn't know, you can actually deploy the Recon drone, and then you can attach some C5 explosives to the drone and then fly the drone around and basically make it like a suicide bomb machine. This is extremely handy for multiple reasons. Now, the Recon drone itself can fly around and spot enemies for you and your teammates. No one really pays attention to the Recon drones. You pretty much fly around unnoticed. For the most part, people don't tend to shoot at them, mainly because they're so small. So you can just fly around the drone with some C5 attached to it, fly it into a vehicle like a tank or into a group of enemies that are camping and detonate it, and then basically get some free kills. It's really fun to do. It's really handy. And if you didn't know you can do that, now you do. So the next tip I have is for quick throwing grenades. Now with Battlefield 2042, when it comes to grenades, you actually have to select your grenades and then throw them. Unlike previous Battlefield games where you just had a designated button for grenades, this one works a little bit different. So I play on the Xbox Series X, so I normally have to hit up on the D-pad to select the grenades, and then I can choose to throw the grenades. But if you go into the settings, there's actually an option for quick throwing grenades, where as soon as you tap on the button, it would throw the grenade for you. So I like this actually better, so what I ended up doing was I switched around a couple of my buttons. On the Xbox, the ping button is the right bumper, so I'd imagine it's probably R1 on the PlayStation, and I'm not sure what it is on PC. But I switch those around because I do ping in this game, but I don't ping as often as I throw grenades. So I switched the button layout around, so now my right bumper can throw grenades. So anytime I tap the right bumper, I will just instantly toss the grenade, or if I hold in right bumper, I can cook the grenade. So that essentially just takes away the option of selecting the grenade. If I want to just quickly have access to the grenade, I can do that now, and it saved me a lot of time, and I'm sure this has gotten me a lot of extra kills compared to those extra seconds that it would take me to pull out the grenade normally. So if you guys didn't know that you could do this, I recommend it. I've loved it way better this way, and it's worth checking out. So the next tip I have for you guys is for those of you that like to play Portal mode. Now when I was playing Portal, I found it frustrating that every match I would load into, I basically didn't have any attachments on any of the weapons. And same thing for the vehicles. Anytime I got into a vehicle when I was playing Portal, the vehicles didn't have any good attachments or any good gear. But when you go into the collection menu, you actually have everything already unlocked in Portal mode. There's no grinding to unlock weapons. Everything is pretty much already there for you. So what I recommend is that if you're going to be jumping into Portal, make sure you go into the main menu first and go into each individual weapon that you might plan on using, and just go ahead and attach all the different attachments and scopes and everything that you might use on your weapons, and then go over to the vehicle tab and you have all the different vehicles unlocked and all their different abilities. So I went in and I changed all my tanks to have different loadouts and my helicopters, and after doing this I spawn in every game of Portal and I already have all my attachments ready, all my vehicles are ready to go, and they have all the upgrades I want them to have. And trust me, doing this alone is going to give you an advantage over most people that play Portal, because most of the average players aren't going to realize that you can do this or that you even have to do this, and they're going to be wasting their time fidgeting around with their loadouts in Portal, or they'll just use the default weapons and attachments that it gives them, and they're not going to have access to these cool different upgrades on their vehicles or their scopes. You pretty much have to do this if you want to have an advantage in Portal. Now the final tip that I have for you guys has to do with the Specialist Irish. Now with Irish, his ability is that he can lay down fortifications. And with laying down fortifications comes a little bit of thinking outside of the box. Now you can actually use these fortifications not just for cover, but you can actually use them to block off certain scenarios or certain hallways or you name it. So what I like to do is if there's an objective on like a roof of a building or something, I like to put these fortifications in front of elevators or in front of doorways. That way it makes it just a wee bit harder and takes a little bit more time for the enemy to push through. If I know the enemy has to funnel themselves up through an elevator, but there's a fortification in their way when the elevator door opens, I can easily just wait for the elevator door to open, throw a grenade through the top above my fortification, and then they have to freak out and worry about jumping over top of my fortification, and then if they do that, I can just mow them down with my gun. So if there's an elevator full of people, either one of two things is going to happen. They're going to die to my grenade, or they're going to freak out and jump over my barricade, and I'm going to kill them that way. Same thing applies to zip lines. I like to put them in front of zip lines to, you know, throw the enemy off guard. Most of the time they're not going to expect going up a zip line and bumping into a fortification. And when it comes to first-person shooters, it mainly comes down to reaction time and basically comes down to milliseconds between your reaction and your opponent's reaction. And if you can throw your opponent off guard by having them bump into a barrier that they're not expecting, that will give you a slight advantage and can help you get the easy kill. So those are the tips and tricks that I have for you guys in this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then please hit that thumb up button. It's greatly appreciated. If you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. If you guys want to see more tips and tricks videos, then please let me know down in the comment section down below. And if you guys have any tips that you'd like to see featured in future videos, then let me know down in the comments as well. And that is going to do it for this video, guys. If you guys want to see me live stream, I do it over on Twitch at SwanyPlaysGames Live, where I pretty much play this game non-stop now. And then if you guys want to join the discussion, you guys can join my channel's Discord. We plan on having like tournaments and stuff where everybody in the community just gets together and we have these big, epic, just community-based Portal matches. So be sure to join the Discord if you guys are interested in that, and I will talk to you guys next time.